Mute him. There you go. All right. We have a quorum, so I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll stand for the pledge and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you may be seated. This is a meeting of the Hannah City Village Council on Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. This meeting is being done in person and through Zoom. We are recording this meeting. Present with us today in the meeting room, myself, Mayor Fred Winteroth. We have our city administrator, Brian Baylor. We have our trustee, Deanna Hoopengarner. Our treasurer, Lori Braden. Our clerk, Myrna Clack. On Zoom, we've got trustee Bill Steer, trustee Todd Gates, trustee Rod Weaver, and trustee Tony Frixell. Trustee Johnson is not with us today. And then we also have our attorney, Michael Biggett, and our engineer, Brandon Lott. Is there anybody else on the Zoom that I do not see? All right, seeing none, we will proceed. We don't have any guests, either via Zoom, through emails, or in person, so we will go down to the approval of our February 16th City Council meeting. You should have received those through email or in your boxes. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our February 16th meeting.
So move.
I've got a motion by Hoopengarner and a second by Frixell. Any further discussion? Roll call. Hoopengarner?
Yes.
Steer?
Yes.
Frixell?
Yes.
Gates?
Yes.
And Weaver. Hit your space bar, Rod, and that'll unmute you. All right, are you hitting your space bar?
You got to hold it down, Rod.
Hold your space bar down and say yes. Or give me a thumbs up. I got your thumbs up. All right. Motion carried. In front of you should be a treasurer's report. What we have is just a payroll report for 3/2/21 and the warrant list. Did that get sent out? Yes, okay. Give you a chance to look that over. Anyone have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report to pay all outstanding bills.
Bill, come down and get his.
So move.
All right, I've got a motion by Steer, a second by Gates. Any further discussion? Roll call. Steer.
Yes.
Frixell.
Yes.
Gates.
Yes.
And Weaver. All right, that was a yes.
And Hoopengarner.
And Hoopengarner, sorry about that.
Yes.
Okay. Brandon, do you have anything for us tonight? There you go. Not quite. You're still muted.
There we go. Boy, video and audio. Sorry about that, folks. No, I don't have a whole lot. Just two quick items. We did receive notice from the FAA. Yeah, you'll all be pleased, but probably not surprised to learn that your proposed water tower is not a hazard to air navigation. So we've got sign off from the FAA. We await permit from the EPA, or at least comment from the EPA. It'll probably still be another couple of weeks, but hopefully this month we'll hear from the EPA. But the FAA is A-okay with you building a tower of that height.
From what I read in that letter, we've got to reapply to them in 18 months or something like that?
Yeah, those things are, there is a clock on them. So, we'll keep an eye on that if we need to do that. But I don't mean to make light of it. It's important, of course, but it is just a paperwork formality to make sure you're in compliance.
All right, very good. Thank you. What else you got?
The only other thing, Brian, it looks like we're now that the ice has melted and the potholes are blooming, we can looking to drive the streets next Tuesday. Is that correct?
We actually had a last minute change this afternoon because of Roger. Yeah, Roger Orr had a conflict come up, so we pushed it a week. So we're now the 16th. So the following Tuesday.
Well, I apologize that I've been running the set.
No, you're good.
If I missed that, I apologize. So
all good.
Point remains the same. We look forward to doing that here soon, so that we can get a real road program. Both again, as we talked last time, your general funds and the MFT program, maybe a little bit quicker than we usually do. Get the MFT into the state, get you able to think about what you're going to spend your general funds on, and get cracking on that. Hopefully here by the time the weather starts to break in earnest. So look forward to that here in a couple of weeks. And presenting that, it probably won't be the next meeting, but they're into April, I hope.
Okay, very good. I know looking at some of our roads, we really need to get on them. So
yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that. It is it's been a rough winter, and hopefully we're done with the ice and snow. But it's going to get here the next couple of weeks as things thaw out. It's going to get nasty out there.
all righty. Anybody have any questions for our engineer? Hearing none, we'll move on down to our attorney's report. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. I've just got a few things to report on tonight. First, it looks like the village is comfortable with where we stand in terms of the Illinois American Shutoff Agreement. And we've now come to an understanding with the company about their notification procedures and the requirements on the village. So at this point, it looks like we can get the agreement ready for a signing if everyone's on board. And then we're going to look into how we decide to shift those Illinois American costs onto the delinquent users. I've corresponded with Brian about this, so we're going to figure out how we want to approach that one and then draft an ordinance to that effect. Second update is just on the emergency powers resolution. Should be up for a vote tonight. I believe it's the latest updated version, and really all we did was update it to have a more current reflection of the status of the pandemic. Cases have gone up, deaths have gone up, so we just wanted to update it to reflect that. Nothing's really changed. It's still spreading, so we're just showing that in the resolution. And then my last update, it's not on the agenda, but I just wanted to make a note of it. So we have 708 North Con annexation, or ordinance annexing 708 North Con, that's up for a vote tonight. Now, if that ordinance does get passed, I just want to remind everyone that we need to file that with the county clerk. So this is more for Myrna, but we'll need to file that with the county clerk, a certified copy, and we'll need to attach an accurate map of the annexing or of the annexed territory. So that'll be attached to the copy of the ordinance.
All right, very good. Brandon, are you still on?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. we are looking at a petition to annex 708 Con Road. I think the last time we did an annexation, you guys did the map for us.
Okay.
Is that something that you guys can do again, or?
Yeah, we could absolutely do that, but now is this different than the pre-annexations that you usually do, right? This is a
Correct.
full annexation. Okay.
This will be a full annexation, so we need the, I forget what they call it, but I'll get you the name.
It's just a plat, isn't it? And
Right,
registration?
plat.
It's a plat. I don't know if we can get by with submitting a GIS, so it's usually better to just go with the plat.
Michael, should I have the surveyors reach out to you to understand just how little we can get away with? I don't want to do any more than we need to.
Me or Brian, either way.
Okay.
I can
Brian,
correspond
okay.
with Brian on it too.
I'll being our surveyor in the morning. He's usually in the mornings, and I'll have them reach out tomorrow, Brian, if that's all right.
That'd be fine.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Thank
Brandon.
you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
That was it for my report, Mayor. If anyone has questions, I'm here.
All right, opening it up for questions for the attorney. Seeing none, we'll move it down to the administrator's report.
Okay, so you've got a summary of the highlights since the last meeting in your packet. Some of those are carryover, so I'm not going to speak to all of them. We just continue to work on some of them. I'll cover the new things. Really good news on Cures reimbursement. In the conversation with Kinga Kreider, the West Peoria city administrator, we learned that the Peoria County Sheriff's fees, the wages for those can be reimbursed for Cures. So I have submitted an additional 7 items for Cures reimbursement, totaling $37,280.54, which would basically take us to our full allotment. I'm pleased to report 5 of those 7 are currently approved and submitted for payment. 2 of them are approved but not yet submitted for payment. So we're waiting for payment on those things. So when we finished last month, if you looked at our deficit for year-to-date financials, we were about $73,000 in the hole, and this $37,000 will do a nice number on cutting that in half. So if we can continue to have positive cash flow months moving forward, maybe we got a shot at breaking even or being in the black this year. So good news there. I also participated in a 2-day rural economic development conference online. It's hosted out of Western Illinois University. Got some good information from that. Completed FOIA training. Yeehaw, that was fun. But it's done, and I am now a FOIA officer for the village of Hannah City.
I mean, I'm not.
No, you can have more than one. The street review we talked about being scheduled for March 16th. So I think those are the big things that I had to cover. But good financial news that we were excited about.
Why is that?
So wages for it seems odd, but wages for police protection were considered COVID reimbursable, and
No, we'd have to pay it anyway.
yeah, even though we would have paid it anyway. So
I mean, it wasn't due to COVID,
But they had to do sanitation measures and masks and gloves and everything for the officers, so that we are just paying a portion of their salary, so we were able to get that reimbursed through the Cures Act. Because of that, we can't reimburse their whole salary, but we can get a portion of it reimbursed.
but that's all of our portion.
So yeah, once we receive payment on all of it, everything that we were allocated for Cures, we will have spent. So we will have gotten our full amount. We cannot apply for any more.
I mean, did it pay? How much of the sheriff's fee did it pay?
I don't
Not
know.
all of it.
No. Because, well, you figure 12 months we've been paying, so we're paying 60-some thousand for the sheriffs, and we're getting reimbursed about 30-some thousand, so got about half of it.
We only submitted merch on them.
Well, we
5.5 months. I think.
All right, any other questions? All right, let's go to committee reports. We'll start with finance.
I have nothing to report.
Do we want to vote on the budget?
Not really.
You should have received a copy of the proposed 2021-2022 budget showing revenues of $1,050,325 with expenses of $1,486,700. It shows a deficit budget on our worksheet here, but as we've said before, there's a lot of things in the budget that goes in back into paying ourselves, like for the rails to trails, for the water tower, for the road improvements. All of that money is just coming back into ourselves. It's not actually being spent out. So I think at our last meeting, Brian broke that down for you as far as how much of that is depreciation and things that aren't going out. So even though it looks like we're 430-some thousand over budget, we typically come in the black. This is the first year in my 16 years as mayor that we might not come out in the black. Although right now we are still pretty close. So with that being said, we've had this open for comments, for questions, if you wanted to add anything to the budget. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve our 2021-22 budget for the coming fiscal year.
So moved.
Got a motion by Hoopengarner?
Do you want that amount put in?
Yeah.
The 1,050,325.
Do I have a second? Second by Steer. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Frixell.
Yes.
Gates.
yes,
Weaver.
Yes.
Hoopengarner.
Yes.
Steer.
Yes.
All right, motion carried.
Michael, can I ask you a quick question? Next step, do we need to do an ordinance for the appropriations? Is that correct?
I thought we had already, did we already prepare an appropriations ordinance?
I don't believe we did, not for the new budget.
Okay, then, yeah, I believe that might be our next step.
We did an
I thought we did that.
We updated it,
we did an amendment, I think, to last year's.
updating, yes. So I think we need to do one for the new
But I
fiscal year.
think-
And I don't know what the timing of that is. I've never done it before, so.
Okay, I'll figure out that timing for you real quick and get back.
We vote on it in April.
Yeah. Anything else under finance?
No, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Sewer. Gates.
I don't have anything at this time.
All right, streets and alleys.
I don't have anything other than I had a question on that, the Tri-County report.
Yes.
It, in the work plan for budget to maintain, it's got like 121,000 for 2021. And then it has a list of streets and the recommended treatment. And there's like 4 streets that say mill and overlay. But the only asphalt we have is on Main Street. So I'm not sure what the mill and overlay treatment is, what they're talking about there.
So Rod, that's Tri-County's recommendation to us. Doesn't mean we have to take it or do anything with it. It's just data for us to take and use and put into our process. We're going to drive the streets on the 16th, go through the process, look what they've given us, and then we'll come up with our own conclusions and our own plan and our own budget for the next 3 to 5 years. But that's just input from the Tri-County data when they went and drove the streets and used their machine to determine its condition.
Yeah, basically, that was the recommendation from the consulting firm that Tri-County Regional Planning used to gather this data for us. Brandon, do you want to weigh in on that?
Rod, as you know, Joe is much more of an expert at this, but my understanding is they don't have a lot of buckets to put stuff in, and A3, the tar chip it's not built for that. It's built for asphalt roads. And so sometimes it'll plug stuff into mills and overlays that are, you're exactly right, are not appropriate. It doesn't do very well down on the bottom end of treatments. It's more for concrete and asphalt streets. And so it plugs stuff into their model, plugs stuff into, like you said, it'll ask you to mill and overlay something that's not appropriate. So it doesn't mean that street doesn't need to be treated. It's just, as Brian said, what is the appropriate treatment? So that's why it's an important tool, but it's not the end all be all. But you're exactly right. Sometimes it throws stuff into a bucket that's not appropriate.
Okay.
Yep.
Good catch.
All right, anything else under streets?
No.
All right, police and planning, Caleb is gone. We did get some incident reports. I don't have those numbers in front of me. We did get those numbers from the county. The other thing under police and planning is an ordinance where'd the ordinance go? All right, it would be ordinance number 21-03-01, annexing 708 Con Road, pin number 16-03-300-012 to the village of Hannah City. If you recall, back in 2014, we approved a pre-annexation agreement with them. At that time, it was owned by Keith and Deborah Wagler. It has subsequently been sold. Other property has been annexed to the village since then, which makes this property at 708 Con Road contiguous with the Hetty property that was annexed back in 2016, I believe it was. So this property was recently sold to John Sigler and Rebecca Burgard. They have signed their petition for annexation according to our pre-annexation agreement. So they have completed their petition for annexation. And so before us tonight is ordinance number 21-03-01. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I've got a motion by Frixell, a second by Weaver. Any questions on this? All right, if not, roll call. Gates,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Hoopengarner,
Yes.
Steer, Frixell,
Yes.
motion carried.
So he says that we need to file, but we can't do it till we get the map.
Right. We'll need a map and everything else to file that. We are still working on the property on Murphy Road. We should have that ready for us at our next scheduled board meeting. And And that will also be a full annexation at that time. That's all I have under police and planning. Water.
No shut off list, no adjustments. And the refund that I have is, there's an issue with it showing 2 checks, but only listing 1. So I need to get, with the water clerk and confirm that. So I will have nothing for tonight.
All right. Buildings and grounds.
Nothing tonight.
All right. Anything else under committee reports? All right, seeing none, we will go to other business. At our last meeting, we passed out the employee handbook, gave you time to weigh in to see if there was anything that you wanted changed. All of the changes, I think, have been included in the handbook. Anyone have any questions or concerns about the employee handbook?
One thing I've got is, I'll just go to this again tonight, and to me, the vacation time is kind of brutal. 5 years. Hey, I would think 1 year. I think we need to do some revision on that, but it can be done later. I think we're pretty lax on our vacation time for people.
All right, the way that the employee handbook has it listed now is less than 1 year service, there's no vacation time. 1 to 5 years is 1 week. 6 to 15 years is 2 weeks. Over 15 years is 3 weeks.
Yes, and I think that needs to be revised to that personally, but that could be done at a later time. We could go ahead and approve it the way it is tonight, but I think we'll take a look at that, because I think the vacation time is way too long.
Okay, any other
What's he mean too long?
comments on that? Too long.
I think after 1 year, 1 week's vacation, after 2 years, 2 weeks vacation, 5 years, 3 weeks vacation. I think would be, that's my personal opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, less than 5 years, 1 week. That's
Any other comments?
Well, he's saying 3 weeks at 5.
It's been like that for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Nobody had a problem.
That don't mean it can't be changed.
That's true.
I think after 2 years, you should get 2 weeks.
You think you should or shouldn't?
Should get 2, not you. The way this is, you're waiting 5 years before you ever make 2 weeks vacation. Yeah, that's a little.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Makes it. Okay,
Make it,
great.
yeah, make it 2 weeks vacation after 2 years.
Right. 3 weeks after 5. Like I say, this don't have to be done tonight. They could all be amended later.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get a motion on the floor so that we can continue discussing this. If we don't get a motion to pass it, then there's no reason to continue to discuss it. So I will entertain a motion to approve the employee handbook that was updated February 22nd, 2021.
So moved.
I've got a motion for Hoopengarner,
Second.
second by Weaver. All right, do we want to address the vacation issue now before we vote on it, or do we want to save that for another discussion?
Save it.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and change that 1 week's vacation after 1 year, 2 weeks vacation after 2 years, and 3 weeks vacation after 5 years.
All right, let me get that down here. We've got a motion on the table that we've got to take care
You
of.
got two motions, you got two motions on the table at the same time though, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. But we're in the discussion phase right now, so yours can't be a motion, but you can recommend to change the vacation time to read
1 week after 1 year.
1 year
2 years, 3 weeks after.
to 2 years,
And the person that's.
1 week vacation,
Gets 3.
2 years to, what'd you say?
2 years after 2 weeks, 2 weeks vacation after 2 years, and 3 weeks vacation after 5 years.
So 2 years to 3 years is 2 weeks. 3 years to 5 years is 3 weeks.
No, after 5 years.
No, 5 years.
After 1 year, you get 2 weeks excuse me,
3 to 5 is 2, 5 and over is 3. That's the way I understood it.
What about 20 and over?
Okay. So,
Pat on the back.
well, 1 to 2 years is 1 week. 2 to 3 is 2 weeks.
No, 2 to 5.
2 to 5.
5.
2 to 5 is 2 weeks.
After 5 years, you get 3 weeks.
That's a lot after 5 years.
Yeah, that is.
At a cat, you had to work 15 years to get 3 weeks, Bill.
Pardon?
I said you had to work 15 years at cat to get 3 weeks.
That was 35, 40 years ago.
I can still
I
got
got 5 years in and I still don't get 3 weeks vacation.
That's my opinion anyway.
I say we up it to 10 before you get 3.
That's what it is. 15 years.
But he's saying 10 years instead of 15.
Since we have several opinions on here, what we can do is, like Bill suggested, we can pass this now. And Bill, if you would like to write up a proposal for us to look at, we can bring it up either at our next meeting or in April and look at changing the vacation policy. We can pass this employee handbook as it's written now. And then if you write up a proposal that we can discuss, we can amend the vacation policy at that time. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me. If anybody else wants to write an opinion, they can write one also.
Yeah. That'll get us on the floor so that we're not having to do something on the fly here. Any other comments on the handbook? All right, seeing none, we're ready to vote on the approval of the Village of Hannah City Employee Handbook updated February 22nd, 2021. I think we are at Weaver,
Yes.
Hoopengarner,
Yes.
Steer,
Yes.
Fixell,
Yes.
and Gates.
Yes.
All right, motion carried. We will look at possibly updating the vacation schedule at a later time. Hopefully we won't have to do this much longer, but since the state of Illinois is still under an executive order, I will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2021-03-01, extending the temporary executive powers.
So move.
Motion by Purcell, second by Weaver. Any further discussion? Hoopengarner,
Yes.
Steer,
Yes.
Purcell,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
and Weaver. I think we
Yes.
started with you. All right. Motion carried. Does anyone else have anything else to be brought before the board?
I got it for the attorney. Now we will have 3 council members after, unless somebody writes in.
They can't write in, they haven't got,
I have not heard if there's anybody filed for a write-in position, so. But go ahead with your question, Bill.
That's what I'm wondering. If we don't get any write-ins, how can you operate with 3 council members?
Good question. Well, I think the mayor would have to sit in to vote because we wouldn't have a quorum, but I'm not really sure.
He wouldn't be breaking a tie then.
No,
Wouldn't be breaking tie.
he would be part of the council. So they would have three trustees and the mayor, and they would have to appoint 3 other people to fill the empty council seats.
Right. You can do appointments if we don't get anyone elected. And then, yeah, that would just need the advice and consent of the board on those appointments.
That would be after the other council members are gone then.
but what do you do with
Correct.
just 3? Would that be a quorum with the mayor?
4 would make a quorum, so all 3 trustees and the mayor would have to be present to have a valid meeting.
Right.
And that would
That's how I
count.
see it.
Yes. That would make a quorum and that would count. Just a couple of updates for you. Under the TIF district, we indicated that we were in favor of starting a community and economic development commission that would advise the council on the any TIF projects that would come before the council. We have talked with the TIF attorneys and the city of Farmington to see how they set theirs up. We have used kind of their template to set ours up. We will have 7 members on that committee. 5 of them will come from the taxing bodies. So there'll be one from the village board, one from the Logan Trevoli Fire Protection District, one from the park board, one from the school board, one from the library board, and then we will have 2 at-large people from the community who will sit on that board. I have talked to and chosen 2 people who have agreed to sit on the board who do not who are not in the TIF district. They live within the village limits, but they are outside the boundaries of the TIF district, so that they will not be able to seek any of the TIF funds in that. I thought that was an important issue. I was looking at business people, but they may want to put in a project themselves for their businesses. So I was looking for someone who was not in the TIF district. So their decisions would not be based on anything like that. So as soon as I get the names of the people from the other taxing bodies, I will bring that list of people to you for your approval and appoint them as a Community and Economic Development Commission. So I'm just waiting to hear back from each of the taxing bodies, who they will appoint as their representative from their taxing body. The other thing that I want to give you an update on is the rails to trails. The federal recreational RTP grant, recreational trails grant that we applied for a year ago. Actually, a year ago today, we applied for it. That grant is usually awarded and announced usually in June. We still have not heard from the state of Illinois whether that grant has been approved. Our legal requirement through the Surface Transportation Board expires March 30th, which gives us the ability to negotiate with the Union Pacific Railroad. It does not look like we are going to hear by June 30th whether or not we've received this RTP grant.
You mean March 30th?
March 30th, yes. So what we are doing is we are applying for an extension through the Surface Transportation Board to continue the opportunity to negotiate with the Union Pacific. I have been in contact with the Union Pacific, and they are backing our request for another extension. We were told the last time that we would not receive another extension, but we're hoping because of a year full of COVID that they will give us a little leeway. Along with that, we have started negotiations with the Union Pacific as far as how much money they want for this 24.7 mile corridor. We're at the very beginning stages of that, but I will keep you informed as we move forward. But it does not look like we're going to have anything completed by the March 30 deadline that we were shooting for. So
Who are we applying for the extension to?
To the Surface Transportation Board.
Is that the state?
That's the federal. They oversee the buying, selling, and abandonment of railroads.
So I don't understand.
I will explain it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone have any questions?
Can Colleen help you out on that, any of that?
Did who?
Can Colleen help you out?
We have been in contact with her through IDNR. They are very supportive of the project, but like anything with government, it just takes time. All of their people most of their people are still working from home. They still have not returned to the office. So it's just taking 10 times as long to get anything through. And so that's really all I can say at this point where it is. Once the state approves it, it has to go back to the Federal Highway Administration, and they have to do their approval process, which is going to take several months also. So since we haven't even heard from the state yet, there's no way it's going to be finished by March 30th, which is our deadline. So I'm working with the IDNR attorneys, and we are crafting an extension letter asking for another year's extension. So we'll see if they grant it. The last time they told us no more extensions, but who would have thought this year was the kind of year that we had? So who knows? That's all I have. Does anyone have anything else?
I've just got a quick answer for Brian on that appropriations question.
Okay.
You were kind of wondering about the timing, Brian. So it's by the end of the first quarter of the fiscal year is usually when these ordinances need to get filed. Last year, there was an extension because of COVID, and at this time, I'm not sure if that extension is going to be allowed again. So we'll just keep end of the first quarter of the fiscal year in mind.
Thank you.
I hope that answers. Yeah.
So when is that?
It would be
The end of May,
May, June, July?
the end, oh,
No,
yeah,
the quarter, so it'd be July.
End of, yeah,
End of
before the end of July.
I
Okay.
think so.
And we typically do it in May, I think.
That sounds right.
All right, does anyone have anything else? If not, at our next meeting, I think March 16th, we will be, a couple of things that will be coming up at that meeting. There'll be a public hearing at the very beginning of our meeting in reference to pre-annexation agreement for the Murphy Road project. And
There's a fence variance possible.
a couple other planning commission things that we might have to deal with then.
Could be a long meeting.
And
Got a lot of things in the queue.
so, but the good news is we're done for tonight. Thank you very much.
See y'all.
Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Night.